the EPAWA headquarters in South Allentown, Pennsylvania, it's time for Weather Weeklies, an informative video of the ins and outs of weather that affect you most in the EPAWA coverage area. The following segment is a weekly video blog, and the opinions of the forecaster do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the staff of Eastern PA Weather Authority LLC as a whole, nor its constituents. Without further ado, here is meteorologist Bobby Martrus with Weather Weeklies.
It is Sunday morning. It is the 1st of February. We are in a new month. This is traditionally or historically our snowiest month across our coverage area here. And we do have some things lined up here beginning with today, and that will go straight through the next couple of weeks and maybe the entire month here. It's going to be a pretty wild ride here, it looks like, as we're going to be going into the pattern over the next at least 2 weeks, and we'll get into that now. I'm going to go into the long range first. We're going to discuss the storm today. Of course, I want to get this out first. We're doing this a little bit earlier than we do on a Sunday morning, just because we have the final call going out this morning at 11:30. So if you are looking for that, come back at 11:30. We'll link to the final call. There will be some changes to it, but we're still watching a few things here. So let's get the long range first. First of all, this was released here on the 28th of January. Everything still looks like it's on par here. We're still looking for a colder than average January, at least through, February. Good Lord, I'm still stuck in January here. A colder than average through the 10th here for the start of February here. We have the potential snow event today. Obviously, that's not a potential anymore. This was done here on the 28th, so it's just using the word potential, so we take that out of there now. So it is a snow event we're going to have today. For some areas, it is not going to be snow. So obviously favoring areas further north, and we'll get into that in a second here. Also have another snow thread here it's actually around the 5th to the 6th here we're looking at. Ensembles are split on that. We'll touch on that one too. And then temperatures are going to be back to near average for a couple days, maybe slightly above even. That would be a change, because we haven't had that in a while here. This would be from the 11th to the 14th time frame, and then we go back to below here, 14th to the end of the month. Early look, I'm not going to get ahead of myself here, but it looks like in the winter outlook we put out back in October, we said that we thought March would turn on a dime. We head to spring, it would be an early spring. Still liking that idea. I really don't like going beyond 3-4 weeks of forecasting. I really don't, because after that, I can think, to be honest with you, it's actually easier to forecast 3 to 4 weeks into the future than it is to do 2 days from now. I know it sounds silly, but when you're looking at the long-range pattern, you're looking at the actual observations, and there's a lot of things that are occurring that will lead to something else. And the combination of those things, like sea surface temperatures, propagation of the Madden-Julian Oscillation, AAM anomalies, there's the Kelvin waves, there's all kinds of neat stuff that we look at. But these are things that are actual observed things, not model projections. When you're looking at things on the models for short range and medium range forecasting, you're looking at a computer model simulation of the future. So you're not looking at observations. You're looking at observations once we get under 24 hours. You're not looking at observations, when you're looking at model projections of a storm that is showing it 72 hours away. You're just not. You can start to look at observations, but you really are relying heavily on these models. If the models are failing you, it's going to make you look really bad. And that's what's been happening here over the last week or so, which has been horrible. I don't know what's going on here, but something needs to be done. Either upgrades to the models or the systems themselves, or better tweaks to the algorithms, or something. But man, this is really starting to make us a little leery about this whole situation here. Here, let's get to the Madden-Julian Oscillation here. Now, this is for those that are just watching for the first time here, the Madden-Julian Oscillation, here's the equator. Okay, equator goes west-east right here. All right, here is the international dateline. Okay, this here is the focus of the convection. This is a phase 7 signal. I'll get into the phases here in a minute, but very strong, almost textbook phase 7 signal shown here. This is a measure of the amount of convection that's near the dateline. And why is that important? Well, if you have the dateline, the convection around the dateline here, it's actually, here's the United States, or here's North America, I should say. Here's Central America. It kind of goes up like this. Here's Alaska. So we draw this here. Here is North America. Okay. And South America goes down here like this. Okay, so that's a very poor drawing there, by the way. I'm not an artist. This is the convection. All right, so when you have convection, it actually throws heights at the western ridge, and combine that with the sea surface temperatures are already pretty high out here. It'll give you a ridge out west. What a ridge out west does This promotes a trough in the east. So it goes like this. So that gives you your cold air source and your chance for storms. You have to have the cold air here first in order to have the storms. Well, we've had that. I know we've had a lot of people are frustrated and saying, oh, well, you know, we're getting the cold, but then the storm comes that warms up right before it or during it. It's like you can't just stay all snow here. And there has been some bad luck with that. It's just timing of things, and it just has been some bad luck there. That's it. But we are going to stay in that. The models are now showing, before it had it collapsing in the circle of death, with this circle right here in the middle. And this circle means the Madden-Julian Oscillation would have no influence in the pattern if it wasn't here. Well, it's not in here like the model said it would. It's still back here in phase 7. Stronger phase 7 signal that's going to go into phase 8 and phase 1 eventually. And then after there, who knows? Could go into phase 2, could go into the circle of death again. I think the models are just still trying to collapse this in the circle of death after phase 8. I think it continues into phase 1 and 2, which would be very good for February, and that's what we're banking on. What does that mean? Your best phases here are going to be phase 7 for winter storms. See how the cold up here? This is all cold air here. There's the phase 7. Same thing. Phase 8 is real good. Phase 1 is real good. See, it's all heading into these phases right now. We're in 7 now, going to 8, maybe 1, and maybe even 2. Now, in February, I know it's not showing here. It looks like it's a little warmer here. Phase 2 is not a bad signal for February across the Northeast. It's actually pretty good, too. So if it doesn't end up in phase 2, we're pretty good there, too. But that would take up most of this month. It's going to take some time. The Madden-Julian Oscillation is a 30 to 60-day intra-season climate cycle. So it will allow you to have pattern changes within a season. That's what this why the significance of this is so important. And that all has to come down to the international dateline and what it does with this convection. Okay, now we're going to move on to the storm here now. Spend enough time on that. We want to get into, excuse me, I get the right frame here. This is our current radar here, what we're looking at. All right, you can see this tremendous amount of snow here on the north side, getting all the way up past Detroit and everything. Also, you'll notice there's some snow showers out ahead of it that's starting to break out, especially across south central PA, from Harrisburg over to Lancaster, back here to Franklin County and places like that. You're already getting some of the snow come in here. Here is this area low pressure here. Pretty impressive system. Takes up almost a third of the country in size. It's huge. All right, this is going to continue out this way here. There's going to be some questions here. I think it does get to western Pennsylvania, but how strong is it? Okay, now let me get into the synoptic setup. We put this on Facebook the other day for those of you who saw it. High pressure to the north. It's actually a little bit further north than this, but there's a high pressure up to the north. This is going to come in from the west. So you got, let me get off this image here. It's going to come in from the west and get itself to when I'm taking over on this next image is going to be from right here. Okay, so here it is, right here, and it comes up to just right about the Pittsburgh area, pretty close to it. Okay, and then because there's highs here, we're expecting it to be forced south. If this is strong, if this is very strong coming in here, it'll actually force this high up here. Instead of having running into a block and having to redevelop like this, it's actually going to force the high back this way to the north. And that's going to give us more of a warmer look. And that's what the models are doing. The models are starting to focus on that and saying, okay, well, this thing's going to come in here pretty strong and pretty amped up. So by the time it gets to Pittsburgh, all it's going to do is shove this thing out. And this you need for your cold air source. So if this, what we're going to be watching for, is if this remains on the weaker side once it comes into southwest Pennsylvania and this high, as it runs to this high, it's going to force this thing further to the south. And if it does that, your areas of best snows that we have indicated here in the mixed lines, and well, we call it a screw zone just to be funny. Apparently some people don't find that very funny, but have a sense of humor, people. Come on. Best snows that are now confined up here will come a little bit further south if this remains weak and is forced to redevelop down towards by DC here and then eventually heads off the coast. If it's going to stay strong, it's going to be what the models are showing right now. Okay, the models are showing this right now. This is very difficult, and why the models are making this difficult. Look where the heaviest snow is. Way up north, northern Pennsylvania. These are heavy snows. Northern Pennsylvania up to the Poconos, up to northern New Jersey, and into southeastern New England here, or southeastern New York. Those are your best snows. And these are just moderate here in the middle, maybe 3 to 6 inch snowfall. 2 to 4, 3 to 6, something like that. Down south here, Philadelphia, nada. Okay? So it's not showing anything. This is the NAM. This is the high-res NAM. South Jersey, Delaware, nada. Across Maryland, nada. Maybe a few flakes to start. Whoop-de-doo. All right. Now you got some snow breaking out here already. That's telling me that this system is very progressive. The more progressive this system is, the better chance you get this snow coming in here a little bit earlier. And it also keeps this system relatively weak as it comes into southwestern Pennsylvania. So this is something we're going to watch here. This is just a wild card. This is what we're looking for. Right now we're going to be responsible. We're going to put the final call out. The final call is going to be, it might not be this stingy here, but it might, it's going to be, I'll probably put a jackpot here over the Poconos, just like this is shown here. Nice jackpot of 10 to 14 up here. But we might bring this a little bit further south. We'll have to see. Okay. Now this is why it's difficult. Just 36 hours ago, you would think that the models should have a clue by then. We're honing in on the storm. We're less than 2 days from the storm. This is what the models had just 36 hours ago. All of them. Had everybody getting drilled here from, south of State College, right, all the way over to Philadelphia. Philadelphia had 10 inches. 10 inches in Philadelphia was expected by the European model and GFS. Oh, and the Canadian, too. Maybe a little bit further north of Philadelphia for the best snows, but man, I mean, your jackpot zone ran right through here between I-78 and I-76. We're just getting ripped right in New York City. And now what happened? Well, that the model started saying, okay, well, this low we think is going to be a little stronger going to southwestern PA. So what that's going to do is going to kick this high out, and we're going to move this up here. And that's what we drew this yesterday. Uh-oh. Well, our best snows are up here, not over between I-78 and I-76. So it all depends on what this storm does here. How strong does it get? This high is going to be here. Okay? It's all going to depend on this and how strong it gets. If it remains weak and progressive, pretty fast west to east, and gets to this point here, it will be forced to redevelop because it's running into this high here. And the high will stop a weak low that's only about 1,000 millibars. But if this thing's ranking up here, starting to crank up here, and it's 994 and just south of Pittsburgh, forget it. See you later. This thing's out of here. And then we get more rain. So you see why this is difficult. So we're going to come out with the final call here at 11:30. Going to go a little bit forward now and show you the February 5th to 6th threat, because we did outline in the two threats here. Let me go back to that real quick. We had two threats that we outlined here in the long-range pattern here. One was the 4th to the 6th. We'll call this the 5th to the 6th now. Another one here, the 9th to the 11th. This is actually now showing probably about the 10th or 11th now. All right, so just back it up a day. It's in that range yet. All right, so let's go to the first one, 5th to the 6th. The models are not really impressed with it yet. There are a few clusters of ensembles that are up close to the coast here, would give us a snow event up here. Majority of the mean is all strung out and further east. Not really impressed with it here. Okay, as we get into now, what are these ensembles? These are just the same model run again another 50 times. Computer simulation runs through it another 50 times. It says, okay, we're going to take the same initialization data. We're going to run this same operational model that we just ran, and we're going to run it 50 more times and see if we can come up with a different solution. And then they're blended together for a mean, which is this in the middle here. You can see there's really no agreement. They're all over the place, all over. From Bermuda's out here. I mean, some are close to it in Bermuda. Others are here closer, tucked into the coast and stronger. So we'll see. I got a couple days for that to look at that. Now, one thing they are honing in on is the one after that, of course. Let's go long range here. This is the 10th to the 11th time frame. Has a big low sitting out here and a pretty good, big cluster sitting right around it. So we'll have to watch that. Could be another coastal system in that time frame. But let's deal with this system here. We're going to have of course, the final call out here at 11:30. I'm going to send out the text alert to our My Pocket Meteorologist subscribers in the meantime. And if you want to get on that program, look for this image right here below the video. It'll take you to the payment options, and you can sign up for either seasonal options or just choose the annual options to get these year-round, because we are going to be ramping these up in severe season. Not only sending you advanced alerts like we did last year, but we're going to be giving you nowcasting alerts. I mean, when you have a storm an hour away, we're going to send you an alert that says to your phone, it says, hey, storm's heading toward Northampton County, take cover. This is what you can expect from that storm. So we're going to be doing that this year. So if you want to get into the annual options instead, because winter's getting toward the end here, you might think, okay, well, I don't want to spend all this money just for a month of winter or whatever's left. You just told me that March isn't looking great. All right, well, we have the severe season coming up too. This is going to be a year-round thing. There's just an option in there to select year-round options. Just click on this. It'll take you through that. Make sure you read through the whole thing. It'll take you through the entire program and what we do. I'm Eastern PA Weather Authority meteorologist Bobby Martrich, and that is this edition of Weather Weeklies. Again, look for the final call today at 11:30 in the morning on the Facebook page link.